I feel like Deion Sanders is real, but we'll find out. All I hear about is him. I'm telling you, this is what's going on. It worked. People paid attention. They got a couple good wins early. The truth of the matter is they got bull people inside that program. Sanders knows it, and he's trying not to reveal it. Players just look at you and go, man, this dude's full of shit. And that's exactly how that team is playing. The smartest thing he can do for his legacy is get out, because it ain't going to get any better. I got to tell you, his act is running a little bit stale, and not for the reason you think. Hey, welcome. This show is presented to you by our good friends at Prize Picks. I am a Deion Sanders fan. I'm a Deion Sanders fan because he's unique, he's different. And you know what? I mean, up until this year, it coached his ass off. Well, I got to tell you, his act is running a little bit stale, and not for the reason you think. Yes, he is 3-6. Yes, he's been getting smacked around, but that's not really it. That adds to it, of course. I've had enough of the me, I, me. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. But they're sitting at 6-3, and remember, or 3-6, and remember, it was all flash. It was rappers. It was cameras, tension. It worked. People paid attention. They got a couple good wins early, and next thing you know, man, we were all enthralled. Okay, still ended up 13-12 over 2 years, but hey, that would be awful and get you fired at some schools, but he was resurrecting Colorado, the Buffalo's worst team, Division I, Power 5 football. And he brought money and attention and sold out. Okay, and he always made it about himself. Me, I, me, my faith, my, me, I, and that's fine when you're new and you're going and you're trying to keep the attention on you, you're building the program. But not anymore. And see, here's the deal. Media that fawns over him won't understand that. You know, the white guys are afraid of criticizing Deion Sanders because he might call him out. He might use the R word, racist. Black guys want to be part of the scene. I mean, this wasn't just me making this up. This has been told to me by both media members. White dudes are like, yeah, I don't want to say nothing, man. He can come at you, say you're racist, and you're out of a job. But here's what we're doing now at 3-6. No players, no access, no nothing. Now, that's fine, but he always makes it about him. If you want to know why these losses have been historic, I have a friend who's a little bit involved. I got friends everywhere, and he told me players are getting tired of me, me. That wears on players big time. I played for Coach Knight 1 year, 85. I played 4, but my last year, 85. It was all me, Olympic this, getting thrown out, suspended, blah, blah. And we all were like, God damn. Like, we're just, you know. So I paid attention to this. And then I told Coach Knight when I was a assistant, I go, you got to make it we, us. And they did. Probably did before. I don't know. But Deion Sanders, and here's more examples of it. According to longtime beat writer Brian Hall from Buff Zone, the doors are not closed and the message is controlled. Here's Brian Hall. After not making any players available to media after the loss to Arizona Saturday, Colorado isn't providing any players, assistant coaches to the media this week leading up to the game at West Virginia. Not sure if that's ever happened during my time as a Buffs beat, on the Buffs beat. There you go. Sanders told reporters no one will be available tonight. It's on me. See? Don't attack the coordinators. Count at me. People get tired of that because externally people go, wow, isn't this bold? He's protecting. Players are like, damn, it's always about him. I mean, we're the ones out here busting our ass. We're the ones that got up at 6 a.m. for practice. He was sitting back at his home. Now, here's how players say, yes, I know he was dealing with a health issue and we prayed for him. But now that we're all in this, all I hear about is him. I'm telling you, this is what's going on. I'm telling you, this has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with me. Me. How many times right here? It's on me. Come at me. Come at me. This is me. Nothing to do with them. Everything to do with me, me, I, me, I. Players are big boys. And I'm telling you, there's nobody in that locker room that's saying, oh, man, I'm glad coach is protecting me. There may be a few that say, yeah, I'm glad I don't have to talk to the media. But no one's sitting there saying, oh, man, he's protecting us. Kindness is weakness. And me, I, me. Well, that wears your ass out. As a player, I'm telling you it does. 100%. And every guy or girl that was an athlete that is watching this knows what I'm saying is true. So here's Sanders again. Who's he talking about? You know who he's talking about. Me, I. Here's Sanders, why he's protecting his players.
As paid professionals, why don't you think players should speak for themselves in a situation like this?
You can't. You know what, my man? That's a great question. Let me tell you why. I have a fatherly spirit. And I have an overseer spirit. I'm trying to shield my guys from certain things that may harm them. I know the temperature of the room. I know if they can't handle this at this time. Certain guys can, certain guys can't. I can't differentiate those guys and tell you, you can talk to them, but you can't talk to them. I don't want to do that. So my job is to protect them and put an umbrella around them until I feel like they're ready for the attacks and the assaults and ready for the social media gambit, which they're dealing with right now. So that's just me being a protector, a guardian, and a father, which we all call coach back in the day.
He's totally full of shit. Totally full of shit. I mean, he doesn't want to have players saying what's going on in that program right now. He doesn't want to have players saying something dumb and then he's got to deal with it. He's full of shit. How many times do you say me, I, me, I, and then he uses the supposed high ground of I'm a coach. No, you're not. No, you're becoming a fraud. And I'm a fan. Look, I've been a fan. I've been a guy that said, hey, man, you know what? He's doing a great job. I think he's a great coach. I think he should have all these jobs. But he doesn't want anybody to get a peek inside at the stupidity. I mean, we saw some stupidity the other day. The dumbest person in media that I ever was around, and I just sat back and watched when the Colts were in the Super Bowl years ago, was Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp was loud, obnoxious, and stupid in Radio Row. What did Sapp do the other day? He's kicking pylons before the game, acting like a complete dumbass. See, when you bring dumbasses into your program, Sapp will be fired after this year. You watch. When you bring dumbasses into your program, you get dumbasses in your program. And that's what's happening here. And he's shading it, me, I, me. So if you come at Sanders, he'll come back at you with some religious bullshit, or he'll come at you with some racist bullshit. I mean, facts. So he's being full of shit here, and he's trying to stay up here like, I'm the coach, bullshit. These players are paid a lot of money. You've been all about access. What, you can't handle it when you get your ass beat? Apparently you can't. No, you absolutely can't. I mean, you're like that bully on the street, all bluster when things are going good. Then when we walk in and beat your ass, you whimper, you cry. Actually, you're like Chicago Bears fans. Colorado, and this is Ben Axelrod, one of the biggest douchebags in broadcast and blogging. Colorado initially declined to make players and assistants available after a 52-17 loss to Arizona Saturday. The defeat marked the second straight game in which the Buffalo surrendered 50 points. Team's fourth loss last 5, 3-6, now needs to win their final 3 to be bowl eligible. Sanders isn't the first college head coach to shield his players and assistants from the media amid a tough stretch, nor will he be the last. Unlike the NFL, such media availabilities aren't regulated, so Coach Prime is well within his rights to curtail. Still, it's somewhat jarring to see a program that previously embased attention now actively running for it. After being one of the best stories in 23, playoff contender 24, they appear to be just another program limping toward a losing record that's trying to do it as quietly as possible. That's right. I mean, the guy, Axelrod, is one of the biggest dipshits in media, so he had to couch it all, right? He had to couch it all so Deion would say, yeah, see, you're right. No, he's full of shit, this Axelrod. The truth of the matter is they got bullshit people inside that program. Sanders knows it, and he's trying not to reveal it. It'll come out. Players will leave and talk about what bullshit people there is inside that program. A friend of mine committed to Buffalo or Colorado back in the day. Coach told him, this ain't what it seems, bro. That coach left, went to San Diego State. The kid went with him and took a bigger NIL deal. It ain't what it seems. And it's getting exposed. And I hate it because I think Sanders is great for football. I don't give a shit whether Deion Sanders comes at me. I'm not sure Sanders can right the ship. I said this before. Here's Sanders. Now, I'm going to get into this. Here's Sanders on his health and the impact it has on his coaching.
Football is your business, but health is way more important. At least it is to me.
Football is not my business.
Okay.
Football is my passion, man. Football is like my lady. She's like my wife. Like, I love her. I do. So it's more than business to me. Business is the other stuff. That's business. This is my heart is in this.
Do you feel, I mean, your health challenges has been as real as they get.
Yeah, but that ain't got nothing to do with the win and loss column.
You don't think so?
No. I ain't playing. I wish the world I could. Especially corner right now, we're short. I wish I could go out there and play some corner right now. But no, I mean, but I got to do a better job in this whole thing. That's on me.
Yeah, he's full of shit. I mean, I love these guys. You know, you get to be an athlete, and you're this philosopher, right? No, I said this at the time. Him not being there, when the head coach isn't there, it's just different. And when the head coach is there, it's just different. And unfortunately for him and for his players, he wasn't able to be there. He was dealing with a serious health deal. And thank God he survived that. But all this bullshit about him being smarter than any of my pals, shut up. You knew the answer. You knew the question. See, these guys are starting to make my ass sag. The old school, like me, people that do all this kind of shit. Of course it has something to do with you. I mean, you were taking all the credit, and you weren't passing, you weren't catching, you weren't doing shit. Nah, I don't think he can get this turned around. I really don't. Now, he's starting Julian Lewis, who's a 5-star recruit. But, all right, as we've learned, his son and Travis Hunter really didn't learn anything or develop under his tutelage. So we'll see, or under the quarterback coach or whomever. Remember, Sean Lewis got the hell out of there as fast as he could. He was the offensive coordinator when they were rolling, and then Sanders started blaming him and others. No, this is a shit show right now. And for Sanders to be dumb enough, and yes, I did use the word dumb enough, to not understand that him not being there impacts his team is either more stupid bluster or ignorance, one of the two. If you don't know that the head coach not being there in the summer is a problem for your team, maybe you'll learn that lesson by how much you're getting your ass beat. But the arrogance, no, man, I ain't playing. Oh, shut up. You didn't throw when you were winning. You didn't catch, tackle, punt return when you were winning. But you made it seem like you were. And now when you're getting your ass beat, no, you can say it's on you, but I saw your sideline demeanor. You ain't taking it as on you. You're taking it as on the players and the coaches. You're full of shit. And I said this before, and I said this when he got hired. I feel like Deion Sanders is real, but we'll find out. Not early. You never find out early, particularly when you bring in the number 1 pick in the draft and a son who understands your offense. But you find out as time goes on. It's called the Mike Davis effect. When Bob Knight got fired, Mike Davis took over, and there was a culture in place. And when finally players understood who Davis was, not the culture of Bob Knight, it imploded. Is it imploding now? I personally think it is. Got to stop with the me, I. Nobody's going to tell him this. Smartest thing he could do for his legacy is get out, because it ain't going to get any better. I'm just telling you. I am. Coaches that make it me, I, me, I. Players just look at you and go, man, this dude's full of shit. And that's exactly how that team is playing. Hey, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Every night I do Prize Picks. I won last night, as a matter of fact. On Prize Picks, being right and get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks when it's good to be right. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football and basketball season. Don't forget the hoops. NBA, make your picks less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money on Prize Picks. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users. Sign up today. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code DAKICH. You get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DAKICH. Get 50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Ladies and gentlemen, is the demise of baseball greatly exaggerated? I've said this forever. Hell yes. Random Tuesday, Wrigley Field sold out. Look at the attendance at all these places. A Wednesday night, 30,000 in Cincinnati, 20,000 here, there, 40, 50,000 others. Just stop it. Just because it's not cool or hip, or you get tired of watching on TV because some idiot announcer's got to tell you what War Plus means. Baseball's alive and well and living in America. The ratings are in for the World Series that just ended, the great World Series that just ended. It paints a terrific picture. for baseball. It sounds a big-time alarm for the NBA. Perhaps the most notable, this is from Bobby Barak, the most notable comparison between the two leagues comes during their championship rounds. 2025, both the World Series and NBA Finals extended to 7 games. According to Nielsen, Game 7, Dodgers-Blue Jays, World Series, guess what? It averaged 25.9 million viewers. Woo! Game 7, Thunder-Pacers, NBA Finals, 16.4 million viewers. Over 10 million viewers more. Just that, 10 million viewers more. The baseball audience far larger despite competing against marquee college football matchups. The finals aired in June. Minimal television competition. It marks the second consecutive year in which the World Series has outdrawn the finals. 2024 Yankees-Dodgers outdrew, well, it averaged, listen to this, only 15 million. Now, there's a new way Nielsen's doing it, so ratings are up. But it averaged 15.1 mil compared to 11.2 on the Celtics-Mavs. And Major League Baseball's newfound popularity is a surprise to casual sports fans. NBA holds more cachet with media, celebrities, television networks, social media. The ESPN devoted more airtime to the regular season NBA than to the World Series. But as we've learned, the interest and preference of the media in Hollywood are far from indicative of society at large. He's right. Bobby's killing it here. Ratings NBA, this is Colin Cowherd, 48%. They're down last 12 years. They've fallen off a cliff this year. Adam Silver's solution is let's make the courts brighter. It's a bad look for a family of 4 to go to a game and the stars don't play. Go ask the Democrats. Be warned, once you detach from regular people in America, you will pay the price. Here's what the NBA needs to do to improve its product. Wipe your ass. You know, that's exactly what David Stern did. When it started getting away from regular people, wipe your ass. What does that mean? Well, it means a lot of things. Heavy discipline for players. Education for players. How you dress matters. I get it. That's probably racist or sexist, but David Stern put it in, and the NBA players said, you're right. See, the problem you have is this, and this is where I'm not sure the NBA can get fixed. When you watch on TV or you hear the most popular shows, you know what? It's not about team. It's about a guy, a star. Now, people will say, well, it's the same way with Michael. Yes, but those stars were engaging. Name me a star right now in the NBA, this moment, that when their commercial comes on, you think that's pretty cool. That droopy-ass vampire-looking dude, Chet Holmgren, and 2 dudes on there that you don't even know who the hell they are. The NBA has 0 personality. 0. Kevin Durant, who should be, honest to God, got the best personality, but he's got to act down with the cause, right? He's got to act sullen. LeBron James is a tired act to 99.9% of the people. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's in that commercial with Holmgren, and the only reason anybody knows who Holmgren is because he's the white dude that's racially confused and looks like a vampire. No, what I would do, I'm not sure, but I would wipe our ass. I would explain this to the players. When players speak, a lot of stupid comes out. Jaylen Brown's bitching about gambling and saying how the players don't get anything out of it. Guy's making $60 million a year, and nobody knows who the hell he is unless you're a diehard NBA player, and he's bitching? Wipe your ass. You come to the sideline, and you look like an idiot. Wipe your ass. Have some respect for your profession. Miles Turner dresses like a girl, literal, when he came to the sideline of a Pacer game. Wipe your ass. Don't be such jackasses in post-game interviews, John Morant. Wipe your ass. Get the referees, somebody, somewhere, somehow, get a promotional thing talking about how good these referees are. Wipe your ass. I mean, there's a lot of things. A ton of things. Get out in front of the gambling. Be bold. Be strict. Be loud, Adam Silver. Wipe your ass. But that's not what Adam Silver's about. Adam Silver's from the school of David Stern was too harsh. I'm going to be a friend of the players. Well, don't be. Wipe your ass. That's part of it. The other part is this. Start promoting the living hell out of how good the game is, how big, strong, and athletic. Even if you got to put up montages of ex-NBA games in the 50s and 60s and compare it to how big, strong, and athletic and skilled these players are, wipe your ass. That's just some suggestions. But what the hell do I know? I don't know nothing. Everybody else does. And players don't care. See, this is the biggest issue. You're telling me 5 years, $200 million, I'm going to give a rat's ass about how the rest of the league looks? Please. Please. There's not one commercial of an NBA player where you go, that's fun. It's all stupid. It's all guys hardly speaking. Wipe your ass. Simple. Hey, you enjoying the show? Of course you are. Head on over youtube.com/@don'tatme to like, comment, and subscribe. That way Don't At Me with Dan Dakich. That way you will never miss any of our great content. We're growing pretty good, and we want to continue to. By the way, tomorrow or tonight, what the hell? No, tonight, 6 o'clock. The biggest event in streaming. Let's go. I'll be right here, 6 o'clock. We'll be taking questions. The chat will be open. All you got to do is go to youtube.com/@don'tatme with Dan Dakich. Hey, talk about brutal losses to open the season. I talked about it a minute yesterday. You know, I've missed the magic of college basketball. I have a saying, and I coined it, now everybody's using it. Every damn night college basketball delivers, or college basketball delivers every damn night. Opening day, Boise State, Mountain West, good program, really good league. Mountain West was picked third, Boise State was picked third in a very tough league. They lost their home opener to a private school, and you'll never guess where this school is. It's called Hawaii Pacific. It's inside a shopping center. No, I'm not BSing. It's inside a shopping center. Boise State just lost to a private school with 5,000 students. Campus isn't merely next to a shopping center. It's actually in a shopping center. Hawaii Pacific. Its campus is literally located within a shopping mall. Here's Mark Harris of Outkick. Hawaii Pacific, HPU, private, nonprofit university on Oahu. Urban campus, downtown Honolulu. Biggest tenant of the Aloha Tower Marketplace with residence hall on the second and third floor. Student community dining center along the water's edge. Multi-purpose classroom interspersed amongst public retail event spaces and restaurant outlets. That's from their website. The Sharks were a Division II program, made the long journey to Boise to take on the Broncos in a game that was on nobody's radar. That is until the final buzzer sounded and Hawaii Pacific carried a 1-point lead into halftime. Instead of fading, they managed to hang on and stud Boise 79-78. Attending college inside a shopping center along the water in Hawaii would be unbelievable. Losing a basketball game on your home court to a college inside a shopping center, well, might not get worse than that. Division II school inside a shopping center taking down a Boise team that won 26 games last year. Every damn night college basketball delivers. It does. It delivers. I can't remember who Indiana Northwest beat, but Indiana Northwest is an extension campus in Gary, Indiana. My buddy Pete Turgovich was coaching, and they beat somebody in Division I on their home court. That was a big one. Chaminade, a little school in Hawaii, beating number 1 Ralph Sampson in Hawaii. That was a pretty big one. I mean, that was like crazy. Indiana beating Michael Jordan in North Carolina, that wasn't a big one. We were supposed to do that. So if you're saying that, stop it. Hey, the most patriotic award show on television is happening today. Fox Nation Patriot Awards, and we have a huge announcement to share with all of you. The First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump, will be joining Sean Hannity live on stage Thursday to receive the Patriot of the Year award, the same award presented to President Trump just last year. It's going to be our biggest Patriot Award show yet, packed with special guests, surprise performances, brand new awards, and so much more. There are limited tickets available, so do right now. Go get them, foxnation.com/Patriot Awards. We hope to see you there. You can also watch this live Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, exclusively on foxnation.com. Hey, welcome back. The great Todd Blackledge is joining us. You see him on NBC's Big Ten Saturday night. He is the official voice of Big Ten football, damn it. A lot of Indiana fans are bitching today because they feel like the only reason Ohio State is ranked ahead of Indiana in the official college football playoff rankings is because, quote, They just seem better. But the resume for Indiana is better. Where are you at in that discussion? Or does that discussion even matter if they, do what they're supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, I just find it, first of all, look, Indiana, the story of Indiana, the story of Cignetti, what they've done is one of the great all-time stories that I've covered in college football. So just the fact that we are having this conversation, when you think of years and years and years in the past, well, this is a ludicrous conversation to even be considering, right? So, the fact that we're having the conversation is crazy. The first college football playoff ranking really doesn't mean that much to me. I don't think any of them matter that much until you get towards the end. But whether it's 1 or 2 or 2 or 1, I think those are the 2 top teams that deserve to be there. And I have no problem with whatever order they're in at this point.
It's funny. Indiana fans, they come at me all the time about stuff like this. And I'm with you. What difference does it really make? But they say, we're tired of being a cute story. We're tired of being, hey, wait a second. Yeah. You've only been doing this for a year, right? Relax a little bit and enjoy it. Don't bitch about it. Just enjoy it and you're fine, is what I've said. No?
Yeah, I think, look, I think they're well past being a cute story. I think that, because they're doing it again, and personally, from my vantage point, I think they're better this year than they were last year. I think they're a better team. And I think when they played Oregon out in Eugene and did what they did, that settled any conversation about, well, they can't really, they have this nice record. They beat these people that they're supposed to beat, but they don't play as well in the big games against the good teams. All that's done now. So, I think people look at them as a legitimate contender for the national championship, not just Big Ten, but national championship.
Your alma mater, Penn State. It's amazing how quickly this went. Were you as a guy that knows, loves, played at? Were you surprised this happened so quickly? And who or what type of coach would you like to see lead Penn State football?
Yeah. A little surprised, I guess, by the timing, but even more surprised by how quickly everything fell apart. That to me was the most shocking thing. And, that's not all on James Franklin, but certainly, he was the guy in charge and it was under his watch. But I did the Oregon game. And even though I thought Oregon outplayed them the majority of the game in all aspects of the game, Penn State still had a chance to win. They had a legitimate chance. They made a comeback. They had a chance to win, and they came up short. And I thought for sure and told people they've got 2 games to get it right now, to get themselves well again. They got UCLA, then they're home to Northwestern, and then they'll get into the meat of their schedule. And, just to see what happened those next 2 weeks, that was the most surprising and shocking thing to me. And so, it just seems to be that's what's in the water right now, right? Coaches getting fired and coaches in midstream and midseason and in some blue blood programs. And so Penn State wasn't alone in that. And as far as who I'd like to see, look, they need a hard-nosed football coach. They need a guy that comes in that can coach ball, get them to being, that physical Penn State football team that I think that they need to be and should be. And we'll see, there's good coaches out there, but I think the best coaches are in places that I don't think are looking to go anywhere. So it'll be interesting to see, what kind of a net Penn State cast. Pat Kraft, I think he's going to take some big swings, but we'll see what ends up being what he lands on.
Indiana, I've said this, I started 2 years ago when they got a guy named Todd Wagner involved in their NIL. He was Mark Cuban's partner, silent partner. He's from my hometown, and my mother and his mother are best friends, but he made more money than Cuban on the whole broadcast.com thing. When Indiana got Todd involved, that added 2 billionaires to their NIL thing. So this isn't like Indiana basketball is going to take off, whatever. Is Penn State, in your opinion, or from what you understand, how well leveraged, positioned are they in the world of NIL and money and paying?
I think they're in pretty good shape. Now, I don't know that, other than what I've been told. I know that for a while it was a little disjointed with some of their collectives and some of the NIL stuff. I think that they have, got everything going in the right direction. I think they have really good alignment in terms of president and athletic director and whoever they hire as the next head coach. So I think from at least what I see and what I've been told, I think they're in pretty good shape, to move forward in this, era of college football.
It got great jobs open. Like I've always said, somebody tells me Virginia Tech isn't a great job. I say, really? You're paid millions of dollars to coach football. So, my family were teachers, iron workers, that kind of stuff. So it's like, hold on a second. These are great jobs. Did Governor Landry in Louisiana, did he open a Pandora's box and he got criticized for it or whatever, but did he open a Pandora's box of schools now looking at these massive buyouts for coaches? What do you think the future of these huge buyouts is?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, at first when he did that, I think people were like, oh, wow, why is he getting involved? He's got to have other things that are more important to worry about, right, in the state of Louisiana. My wife is from Louisiana, and so and went to LSU, but I'm sure that is something that people will take a different look at. And I understand what his point was. And at least it seems now, there was pressure for that athletic director to be removed, and they made the interim guy now the permanent guy. So I think they're giving him, the authority to run the search for their new head coach. But it's probably something that will be looked at a lot more closely by schools.
Do you think, do you think that this is something, like if you were an AD and you're the AD at Penn, here's what I've said about Indiana. I'd love your opinion on this. Indiana gave Archie Miller from Dayton 6 times his salary to come coach basketball at Indiana. My deal would be like, look, I understand it's a bigger job. You're making $500, I'll give you $1 million, or you could stay your ass at Dayton. At some point schools have got to understand what they have, don't they? I mean, if I'm Penn State, I don't know, play from a position of strength for once. I don't know. It seems like they always play from weakness, Todd.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Penn State's a great job. I really do. And obviously I'm a little bit biased, but I think it's a great job. I think you have a great recruiting base. I think you're positioned well financially, in this NIL space. You can win. You play in a great conference. You have good access to the college football playoff through the Big Ten. So I think it's a great job. And I think they, need to make sure they get the right guy and the right fit. And, as far as some of that money, buyout money and that kind of stuff, look, use that money to pay the players. Use as much of it as you can, and you can put together to pay for your roster, and coaches, certainly get paid a lot. I mean, you got coordinators, most coordinators now making well over $1 million, some $2 million. In the case of Jim Knowles, $3 million. Head coaches making, anywhere from $5 to $10 to $12 million. So coaches are getting paid enough for sure. And, so the money is obviously there.
Before we let you go, but going back to the college football rankings last night, was there anything in there that surprised you? Was there anything like, there's some interesting teams here. Like you never think, I don't know, Virginia's going to be in there. Here comes BYU, Memphis, Texas Tech. I mean, there's some interesting teams that we really haven't paid attention to, I guess, before. No?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. And the thing I appreciate about the college football playoff ranking, is that it didn't happen until this week. That's why I hate preseason polls. I think they're foolish. I think there shouldn't be any poll in college football until you get midway through the season. So I really like that about the timing of when this ranking comes out. So you mentioned BYU. BYU is a team that deserves to be up there. but nobody knew anything about them or thought anything. All they knew about BYU when the season started was their starting quarterback from last year got in a little trouble. He was leaving, who was going to be the quarterback. And so, teams like that deserve to be recognized right now. So I think that part of it's great. Texas Tech, people thought, well, we know they got this NIL guy who's paying all this money and they're paying for players, but does that mean they're going to be any good? Well, Joey McGuire can coach football. I mean, he's been a good coach there, and they deservedly are up there, where people are seeing them. So I think the fact that it took this long to have this first poll makes it more accurate. Texas A&M, probably people didn't think Texas A&M was going to be as good as they were. I saw them in week 2. When they beat Notre Dame on the last play of the game. And lo and behold, they haven't lost a game. And so they're sitting there at number 3. So I think that's good. I just think, it's funny. After 1 week, people thought, Alabama's terrible. Kalen DeBoer can't coach. He's got to go because they got beat by Florida State. Now Florida State's nowhere to be seen. And Alabama hasn't lost, and they're sitting at number 4. After 2 weeks, people thought, Notre Dame's got no chance of getting back to the playoffs, right? Because they lost 2 games to 2 teams that were ranked in the top 5 by a total of 4 points. And here they are now on a roll. And if they win out, they're going to be in the college football playoff. I just like the fact that it's at this point in the season where we start to rank teams, because I think this is the most realistic time to do that.
I want to go back to Joey McGuire. I like that. The guy started as a high school coach and goes to Baylor, gets a shot. Signetti leaves Alabama, goes to, Indy, Pennsylvania. I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong about this, particularly in Pennsylvania and Ohio, I feel like there's so many coaches that are, and I'm not going to say you're going to hire a high school coach like Jerry Fausch or anything like that, but there are so many coaches that are coaching at the lower levels of college football that could probably, like Signetti, win anywhere. If I were an AD, Todd, I'd have to take a look at some of those guys. I would.
Yeah, I'll throw a name out there. Maybe you've heard of this guy or not. And I think he's going to get a job at some point. Now, he just got a job, but I think he's going to get a bigger job. So there's a guy out there right now by the name of Bob Chesney. Bob Chesney started out coaching lower levels, was successful, went to Holy Cross, was successful, took over for Signetti at JMU when Signetti went to Indiana. JMU is still killing it, right? Even though Signetti took a bunch of their best players with them, JMU is still winning and winning big and going to be in the playoffs and all that. So he's a guy that I think is just like that, is going to get a job somewhere and do a great job.
People forget, and this is one of the biggest upsets ever, not if you know the state, but because Tressel's one of the great politicians of all time, but Jim Tressel was at Youngstown State and he gets the Ohio State job. You know what I mean? This isn't – I swear to God, Todd, that guy Chesney's done a great job at James Madison, and if guy knows how to get it organized – when Urban Meyer took Florida, he had already taken Utah, maybe the best team in the country at the time, but – there, you hire these other guys that are good at different schools. They're good at Iowa State or whatever, but damn, I don't know. It seems like the blueprint maybe is changing a little bit. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I just think, I'm the son of a coach. I grew up around. I mean, if you can coach, you can coach. And if you can organize and win and breed culture and do all those kind of things, you can do it at any level. And so, obviously the stakes are higher the higher you go, and you've got to deal with other issues. But there's a lot of really good football coaches out there. And again, I think my hope is, for Pat Kraft, again, personally for Penn State, but if I was a fan of any of these other big programs that a job is open right now, my hope as a fan would be, don't just try to win the press conference. Hire the guy that's the best fit, that's going to be the best fit for your program, that's going to get the kind of team and culture that you want there, and go forward with that and believe that they can get the job done. So that's, again, I think that's the hope for a lot of people out there.
how much politicking? Sarkisian's already politicking for a 3-loss SEC team to get in the college football playoff. How much politicking would you do if you were a head coach and you were at a 2-loss or, Virginia, Iowa, something like that? What would you do with that?
Well, I would probably worry the most about just winning the next week. I think that would be my primary focus is if I have 2 losses to make sure I don't get a third. And then, so I don't know. I think there's probably a time to say something on behalf of your team, but I don't know that we're at that place yet.
I went batshit crazy in 2000 and 2002 on the MAC commissioner because they weren't promoting us. We won the league both times, had 24. I went absolutely batshit crazy, But that was after, right? I mean, we didn't quite get it done. We lost to Kent. Yeah, I lost to Kent the championship game, and but I get it. Appreciate you, Todd. Great stuff, man. Thank you for coming on. Always Dan. Great to talk to you.
Good to be with you, bud.
Todd Blackledge, great to be with you as well. NBC Saturday night, Big Ten football. There is some interesting stuff coming up with college football. Like, where's Iowa going to end up? I mean, people don't even look at those kind of things. If Sarkisian is going to, and I guess rightfully so, people tell me, well, IU is going to be in the playoff. Hold on a second. You're not a 40-year IU fan. A 40-year, 50-year, whatever I am, IU football fan. My first game was 1972 or 1973. Hell, I can't remember. I think it was 73 because Kent Benson was there. Or maybe 4. Hell, I don't know. But I'm like, damn, I've been following this team forever, listening on the radio and everything else. So I'm expecting to get an ass beaten this week in Penn State. Or I'm not going to be surprised if Wisconsin. I'll be pissed off if Purdue beats us. But damn, I wouldn't be worried about politicking. I'd be worried about busting somebody's ass. We'll be right back. Hey, let's woke-a-dope, shall we? F it. I'm moving to Florida. The Statue of Liberty is going to be in the Gulf of America before we know it. Mondambi is the new mayor. Wow, he's going to empty the prisons. Can you believe this? I can. I can believe everything. A rich kid portrayed himself as a poor kid. Smiled a little bit, and the idiots in New York City believed it. Some dude that threatened to kill Republicans is like the Attorney General of Virginia. What a world. I'll just stay here in my little Midwest town and enjoy the high crime of downtown Indy, which exploded again this weekend. Anyway, I got to tell you, the deal is simple. We're a bunch of idiots in this country. We're trying to destroy the best country ever. Next. Honorable U.S. soldiers watching the Democrats fight to give money to freeloaders and illegals, but not their paycheck. It is astounding to me. Man, when Trump said he was going to drain the swamp, did anybody think it'd be this difficult? Did anybody think that all these politicians would say, all right, now we're just going to simply lie? Shut down the government now after they said for years, Pelosi and Schumer and all those guys, it's evil to shut down the government. Did anybody think that we could have lifetime politicians that could literally look in a camera and lie like these folks do, shut down the government but collect their own paychecks, give money to illegal immigrants? Oh, it's unbelievable. Elect a guy that wants to defund the police in New York City, that wants to clear out jails. It's amazing. I just sit back and laugh. I'm glad I'm old. Next. You know what it doesn't say in the Constitution? Give up your rights to appease some crybaby leftists. Oh, man, I'm not giving up nothing. I'll take all the smoke. I ain't afraid of all the smoke. I catch smoke all the time. I ain't afraid of it. Got to speak some truth. Last thing. Well, you asked for it, and you got it. Tonight, 6 o'clock right here. you're going to be able to have our chat going on YouTube. We'll take all of your questions. We'll answer all of your criticisms. And all you have to do is, at 6 o'clock, go to youtube.com/don't@me with Dan Dakich. Excuse me. youtube.com/@don't@me with Dan Dakich. Yeah, we're reviving the chat tonight at 6. I hope you'll join us. It's going to be raucous. It's going to be fun. And you've demanded it. And when you demand, we give it to you. We'll see you tonight, 6 o'clock, youtube.com/@don't@me with Dan Dakich. 6 o'clock. You want to hate on me? You want to call me names? I'll answer all of your questions, good or bad. See you tonight.